And in short, if you spend most of your time on the desktop, it's going to involve some trade-offs. So the big question, the final conclusion here is, should you dive in now, wait, or skip it? Well, I think, as the poll indicated, most of the people in this crowd have already made the decision that you're ready to dive in now or very soon in the next few months. That's not the way the market as a whole is going. As I mentioned, the real theme of this, Windows 8 is a polarizing release. There are a lot of people who don't like it. But I think if you accept the changes, if you understand the reasons for them, then it's worth it. And it's especially appealing if you get Windows 8 on a new touchscreen device. The good news is we know that there's updates coming later this year, this summer in preview and before holiday season this year in a final release of Windows 8.1. And any device that you buy today running Windows 8 will take advantage of those updates. But there's no downside to waiting. If you have an organization or a business that runs on Windows 7 will be fully supported until the year 2015, and it will be in what Microsoft calls its extended support mode until the year 2020. So if you want to stick with Windows 7, if you want to wait and see what happens with Windows 8 and maybe even wait until Windows 9 or Windows 10, there's no downside to doing so. You can stick with Windows 7 and all of your software will continue to work. So one additional poll, I have a feeling I know what the answer to this is like, but what do you expect your PCs to be running in 2016, a year after Windows 7 goes out of mainstream support? And maybe while we're waiting for that, we can take some questions, James.
Indeed, plenty of questions coming in. And since I am the stunt moderator today, I apologize in advance if I pick one of those questions where everyone says, oh, that's an easy one. Let's start with this question from Jagannath. Ed, he just wants to know, he's about to begin installing Windows 8. Is there anything that's going to freak him out in terms of the installation that's just a little bit different to the norm?
That's a really good question. There's two things that I would say. Number one, Microsoft has an upgrade assistant as part of the online upgrade, and absolutely positively run that first. It will tell you about any devices or drivers or software that you have that's incompatible, and it will actually walk you through uninstalling or updating those things so that you don't run into trouble. It's a great question, and you will avoid a lot of headaches if you do that. And I think the second thing to do is to make sure that you sign in using a Microsoft account, because that's where you're going to get the benefit of seeing the connections to things like SkyDrive and your Facebook account and Twitter account and such. But run that upgrade assistant and you won't have anything that freaks you out.
Excellent. Well, we're going to dive into a lot more questions. So before we do, I just thought I'd share those results of the poll on screen. And obviously you were right, 56%, mostly Windows 8. That's pretty convincing, I would say.
Yeah, and I think it might be, if we look at it, it might be Windows 8.2 or even Windows 9 by then. But I fully expect Windows 9 to be, Windows 9 will be to Windows 8 as Windows 7 was to Windows Vista, a cleaner, nicer, more mature version of it.
Excellent, and as promised,